Good Wednesday morning. This Vermont Utility Weather Hazards outlook is valid the rest of today, Wednesday, through next Tuesday, December the 29th. The semi-active period of weather, utility concerns are only looking at some marginal gradient winds across our local higher terrain, mainly along the spine of the Green Mountains, with gusty winds from the southwest on Thursday, Christmas Eve day. Our next utility concern will be on Monday for potential gradient wind gusts delivering sharply colder air, some Arctic chill involved. And that'll happen Monday morning into Monday afternoon. There is a possibility, low confidence at this point, of some wet snow potential looming for Tuesday. And our best dry project weather days will be the rest of today, Wednesday, before more rain arrives into the region tonight. And then also, it looks like the rest of Christmas Day on Friday is looking dry as well. This is kind of a wide overview here. We still have the El Nino conditions where subtropical moisture is getting pulled up. You can see another area of low pressure just a little bit southeast of Hawaii. This is the west coast of the United States and Alaska up here. Cold Arctic air is trying to make some inroads and gradually get into the region. It looks like it's going to drop in for a visit next Monday. And that transition could mean some fairly good blustery conditions along with lower wind chills. That sets a stage for basically late in the period on Tuesday, where then warmer air will try to overrun that, and we'll probably get some kind of snow out of it. And that's the latest development for basically on Tuesday, the middle part of next week. Well, generally the same old weather pattern with the cold air locked in off to the west. This is kind of typical of also of El Nino, where our coldest anomalous temperatures are out west, occasionally even getting into northern Mexico of all crazy things. And of course, our warm anomalies are in the east. We're looking at record warmth working in from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up into the northeast United States. It has to make a transition. We have a warm front that'll be starting to push in that slightly warmer air and give us a chunk of rain again as it'll arrive into southern Vermont roughly after about 4:30 or 5 p.m. A lot of fog this morning, and you can see this area of rain that's moving up. Second area of rain with strong thunderstorm activity and severe weather outbreaks across portions of the southern plains and into the lower Mississippi Valley in the southeast United States, where they're seeing thunderstorm activity this morning. And a quick look at the 6-hourly panels, looking at all of the U.S. and adjacent North America. Well, we can see here we are where we're looking at an area of higher pressure pulling away, and this is going to be valid late this evening. The surge of rain will overspread the region tonight. Gradient winds are out of the south, but they're not of any major concern, and it looks like that chunk of rain then moves on through the area. You can see it exiting right here. This is valid about 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and this is where we're going to see record high temperatures be broken with that southerly flow. So that southerly flow will then get pushed out with a little shot of scattered rain shower activity, and then the cold air gets very, very close to us, but high pressure builds in for Christmas Day. So we're looking at Friday being a dry day. All except right here, a little bit of sprinkles, some very light precipitation in the form of rain showers across parts of southern Vermont very late in the day on Friday. Beyond that, conditions then, another little surge of moisture kind of heads off to the south of our region, tries to make some inroads, and then eventually just southern Vermont catches a few lighter showers that lingers into really Saturday night and into Sunday morning. The next situation is more of an impulse here that'll be arriving along that frontal boundary, and we're looking at a shot of a chunk of rain once again, and this is going to be followed by colder air. You can see these thicknesses are really packed. This thermal gradient is going to be very, very strong, meaning it's very cold up in the just to the north of this region, relatively warm to the south. So you're seeing these lines become compressed, the dashed lines there, and that's a significant shot of colder air that's going to be working in on Monday. Typically, it takes some pretty strong winds to move a much more sluggish, colder air mass into the region. So we're looking at very blustery conditions as it works into basically late overnight Sunday night and into Monday is going to be our next potential wind event. Beyond that, little area of higher pressure builds in for basically Monday night, and then that moves on out, and we start to have warm air advection with a big chunk of subtropical moisture, some infeed from the Gulf of Mexico, trying to work into the region. And this is where I think we're going to get a little bit of wet snow potentially here for Tuesday, as that air mass overrides the colder air mass right here. That area of higher pressure pushes off, and you're looking at conditions that could feature a few, maybe even several inches of snow, some of that medium to wet. So we'll be watching that very carefully. That would be along about Tuesday, the end of the period. Weather Prediction Center, 7-day total rainfall and snow accumulations. You can see we're looking at about an inch here, about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches, maxing across portions of southern New England and into southern Vermont. This is good and valid really through 12Z or 7 a.m. on Wednesday next week. This is the 5-day maximum temperature anomaly. You can see greater than 24 degrees above normal here. Pretty amazing stuff. And we're running anywhere from 15 to above 18 degrees above normal for the next 5 days. About 3 days later, a little bit of colder air makes a little further inroad. And we do have a cold shot coming through, but the overall balance is that we're seeing temperatures not as warm. We're talking basically 6 to 9, maybe 10 degrees above normal. And that's going to be with a pretty impressive cold shot that's going to be working into the region very late in the period for basically Monday and Tuesday. So on Christmas Eve day, we're looking at record-breaking warmth. Here is where we are today. We're expecting temperatures in that 45 to 50 degree range. Overnight low that's going to stay well above the freezing mark, down to about 40 or so. And then we're looking at the spike here that's going to be breaking records. Now, the European model has also taken this spike even higher than that. And in many areas are giving us temperatures basically in the mid-60s, and some areas trying to run that almost to 70 degrees during the day tomorrow, Christmas Eve day, Thursday. Over the course of the last week or so, we've seen as much as 8.9 inches in Sutton, and a considerable amount of snowfall in the Northeast Kingdom with lake effect trajectories that just sat over one particular station and unloaded. And then if you look at the total snow depths here as of this technically yesterday morning, we had a couple inches atop Mount Mansfield, 3 inches in the Standard Mountain region around Walden, and a couple inches in the northern portions of Caledonia County. And all of this is going to be melting back with the record heat. I suspect even the 2 inches at the stake atop Mount Mansfield is going bye-bye with temperatures that will be setting records well above normal. And you're looking at kind of a Wuthering Heights version of the ensembles of both the GFS as well as the European control runs. And you can see that here's our spike here with temperatures generally in our 60s. This will happen for Christmas Day, Thursday. And then the fall in temperature, a little bit of a Christmas Day outlook. You're looking at temperatures in the 40s to near 50. And then we get near the freezing mark. We go right back up again, it looks like, before we see a pretty major fall. And this is their cold weather we're going to see for the early part of next week. This transition from these warmer highs to this area here, we might experiencing some gusty winds, some gradient wind issues. We'll have to watch very carefully. Then as the warm air arrives overrunning the cold air that will be established, you can see these bars of precipitation here. This is where we're expecting potentially some wet snow. Quick look at the GFS ensemble here. This is our little rainfall we're going to see, maybe around 3/10 to about a half inch, potentially moving across the region. Then we dry out. Not a whole lot going on for basically Friday. And then we get into this more unsettled period here beyond. And you see the blue lines here, that represents snow. So we're looking at the possibility of some snow with this potential here being the possibility of some wet snow in some of our locale. We'll have to watch along about Tuesday. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.